It's the game the WAFL has been waiting for, the grand final rematch. This time it's a more powerful East Perth side than last year. Who will prevail?
He's a skillful goal kicker. That's a great kick. He slams it into the second tier. Oh, brilliantly down to Seal, who gets onto his left boot. Scores are level. Comes down to Seal. He turns and snaps. Patenti from the left forward pocket. He'll go for goal. That's a terrific goal. Expected a bit of push and shove. It continues to go on. Swan sends it on its way. He kicks the big goals for the Royals. Michael Swan. Opportunity for Kerr. He kicks the goal. Comes in, steers this one on its way. He's kicked it. They'll sweep it forward. Crisp shoots a goal and he kicks it. From outside the boundary, this would be something special. From right on 50, this is a big kick. The underdogs, they have trounced their opposition.
Live from Leederville, it's East Perth taking on the Premiers, West Perth. This is the WAFL.
As we look at West Perth's lineup, Darren, pretty solid and finding some form last week.
Yeah, and as Ken said, you look at East Perth's forward line, and that back line's really going to have to stand up. And since last time I saw them play, to have Crisp back in the side, he just gives enormous forward pressure, and so does Manning. Those two players are really quality additions.
Well, Bill Monaghan's the reigning premiership coach, but he certainly took a big breath last week, I'm sure, with relief when they won their first game for this season.
Yeah, look, it was great last week. Finally used the ball well enough to kick a winning score, which was pleasing. Look, today should be a real challenge. You know, obviously they've lost some out with West Coast, but gained some others, and they're up and firing. So it should be a really good quality game, and I think our boys are up for it today.
Blaine Wilson gets a pretty good kick away. Josh Smith up on the half-back flank at the moment competing. Wolf slings a hand pass over his head, only as far as strike. Best of field last week. Jordan Jones gave it there to Patenti, and Patenti, a delicate little kick, and guess what? Matt Fowler's held a mark.
Yeah, he's presenting really well, but 3 fumbles at the start of the game, but they're coming inside 50 very well. We were critical of that last kick, and they've had 3 opportunities, 2 drop marks, both by Fowler.
Well, that one he's taken on his chest, because the other he tried to take in his hands and didn't do it too well at all.
He's a good finisher, so
he's a bit of a character. We saw in the openers what a great goal he kicked from the boundary line in last year's grand final, and that is a terrific shot on goal by Matt Fowler. So Rodder doing some ruck work in defence. Mitch Fraser winning with the boots, lucky to get away with that one. There is Antonio, but dispossessed. Lacantro picks the ball up, kicks the ball over the head of all and sundry. Josh Smith went to ground, and it just caught Dan Hunt on the hop. Our cameraman's still alive too, just almost took him out. So nearly 15 minutes gone. Johnson tried to get it onto his boot. Coonan does, however. Awkward bounce there for Manning. Carter releases it. Hand pass from Jacob Brennan. Clutterbuck, they jumped right on top of him. Adams did at least. Still, possession's pretty hard to get out there. Coonan does well, and a clever hand pass because he gets a bit of space there for Rasmussen to work in. His kick over the head of Salikas, who went to the ground, and Blee is able to find a target in Clutterbuck. Now he played on. Umpire saw it. Brennan feeds the hand pass back to Freddie, and that's as short a pass you can get in footy, and it goes over the line. Well, the umpire didn't see it.
You called it very well. Anthony Salikas has just got to stay on his feet there. As soon as he goes to ground, it becomes a 2-on-1 and the ball comes out of forward 50. But Cody Manning would have had 4 or 5 forward tackles already. He's putting on a lot of pressure up there.
Fantastic tap down to Kerr from Coonan. Then it goes from Bartholomew to Manzoni, who's been busy. That's good vision, and Patenti found a lot of space onto the left boot, kicks it to a pack of 2. Gathering the crumbs there was Salikas onto his boot, and he's kicked it. Well done by Anthony Salikas. Well, very good overhead is number 11 for West Perth, but he's also very opportunistic when the ball hits the ground, Judge. So Blaine Wilson finds Clutterbuck. A staggering Freddie Clutterbuck.
Not 15, player!
Not 15, says the umpire, so very short pass. Here they go, Ash Smith to a couple of Royals. Taken out there, good clean mark, away they go East Perth. Down the outer side of the ground, Wolf. He's got a player running for him. This player is Tunbridge, who takes the mark 25 metres out from goal and kicks it. Well, East Perth just dominated the outer side of the ground, set up the loose man, and a quick transition has resulted in Simon Tunbridge kicking the easiest of goals.
Well, they spread really well there and used the ball well. I mean, there was good vision. Every one of those players was well and truly clear, had an opportunity to size up what was going on and find another freed-up player. They'd be a bit disappointed with the defensive side of things there, West Perth. It all unfolded too easily.
It's the decision-making of the defender as we see them come inside 50 here and, you know, Wolf, good. And this is a great finish. Just gets steady, takes that step and finishes the job.
I said before the I like Tunbridge. I reckon he goes okay.
That's a great finish.
And he's tough.
Yep.
Dylan Main also involved in that. First time I've seen him, one of 3 debutants, number 69, with a good hand pass. And also Dobson, who's done some good things. I think he was the one that kicked it to Wolf. So a good setup all round by East Perth. Coonan wins the tap. Carter went in but left the footy behind. Allows Van Berlo another possession. Back to Coonan. There's another one of those kicks that doesn't spin, Darren, but it's sat up all right for Fowler. Fowler out in front of Stolikas. Well, he just got 1.5 metres on Jacob Brennan. The lead was clever and the finish was also quite brilliant, and Stolikas can line up for his second.
And it's a great kick, isn't it? But, you know, Anthony Stolikas just had the body work then. It wasn't a lot, but he just had that space and the kick was just weighted perfectly with the space. He'd want to finish this one. He missed his first set shot.
Oh, this is a beauty, though. Stabbed at it as he does, but Anthony Stolikas, to the applause of the West Perth faithful, he has his second. The margin moves out to 8 points. So this is Craig Wolf. Goes to the lead of Fraser McInnes. He's a left footer, doesn't use it, uses his handball to Clutterbuck, who chips the ball up into the pocket. No mark taken there. Tunbridge's second effort was terrific. Now he's pretty good in situations like this. Screws it across his body, and Simon Tunbridge has got his second.
It was great use of the body and a fantastic field.
Yeah, it was.
Move it on, play on!
He's between left half back and left centre wing. Ash Smith put a fist into it, almost could have marked it. Dan Hunt, he was chicken winged, I think, Judgy, we're calling that one.
I think that was holding the ball, wasn't it?
I think it could have been. Wolf's hand pass uncharacteristically went astray. Strike, finds a teammate, and Fowler. Fowler sets it up there for Adams, who hasn't knocked away from him but controlled it. Jacob Brennan won't be happy with this.
Which is fair enough too. I think Judgy called the one on the outer wing. It looked like a caught with the ball to me. He had his arm. I don't know how Hunt got rid of that, and because of that, it ends up going to the other end really quickly. What did you think of that decision there, Judgy?
He's on the mark.
That would be a bit tough, wasn't it? I thought that was spoiled. But that's the second one today they've paid like that, isn't it? It's almost like they've blown the whistle, they've committed themselves, and they've got to go through with it, rather than might have been a bit rushed.
Yeah. Marcus Adams lines them up, and this one is close, but I think he likes it. Goal umpire made plenty of ground to the right, but Marcus Adams has kicked his first, and it's the first goal of the second quarter.
I think what happens, he got tackled really well before by Smith, and Smith was right on him. Dan doesn't have great speed, but that was a little bit too obvious, that one.
Freddie Clutterbuck, and then Josh Smith into a bit of bother. Stephen Payne, and Wolf on the third juggle pulls down a beauty. I'm impressed with Stephen Payne. From what I've seen of him, he is a very good user of the footy.
Yep, and gets plenty of it.
You're just looking at his stats last week, 19 possessions, but in recent weeks he's been into the 20s, well and truly. This man, he had 34 possessions, if you don't mind, last week, and that's not unusual for him. He did kick a goal as well. He'd like to back up with the second one here. Just going to get the distance. He's got the accuracy and the distance. So Craig Wolf finishes off a good passage of play by East Perth.
And this is exactly what East Perth wanted. Let's get around one-on-one around the contest. Let's make it a real battle around there and not let it come out easily.
Van Berlo doesn't have a lot of options, so the kick went to Wilson. A floater from Wilson, shocking one, read brilliantly by Antonio. Now he only has to kick the ball straight, get a bounce, which it does, all of the above. And Antonio, after a real blunder by Blaine Wilson, has the fans on their feet, and West Perth kick a goal against the trend.
Well, that's a bad turnover, terrible turnover in the middle of the ground. He's had a bad one, Wilson, so far today, isn't he?
Yeah, it's the right option. He just doesn't. He just doesn't have the skill to get it there. And well read, really well read by Antonio. He kept his eye on the ball and took them on and backed himself in. It didn't come that good off the boot, did it? But it's bounced nicely through.
We've talked about the Burley footy. I mean, some of the players do have some trouble kicking it.
The most skilled don't.
No, you're right there.
No,
We've seen some very good execution this afternoon, but normally Antonio is a player who gets the ball off his boot pretty well.
We saw a beautiful inside 50 from him before.
See the umpire really hammering that ball into the deck. Through went Nelson, tracking the footy with determination. Hutchings with a hand pass up, but only as far as Batterham. He got it off to Jones. Now Jones sends the ball out wide. Not a bad policy because Antonio, well, he was leading Jacob Payne to the footy. Now he gathers it. Little stab pass. That was a beauty to Nelson. Nelson with a short pass on the lead, Salikas, and he will shoot it goal from deep in the right full forward pocket. I'm not too sure they needed to end that deep in the pocket where they had it.
Straight around.
Would like him leading more up the corridor then.
And maybe it's a psyche thing. You talked before about him kicking 1-4 last week. He sees the goals open up in front of him. Now he has the chance to go at them, but he's honoured the forward.
Well, Salikas, pretty good kick. He's jailed that. That is a remarkable goal. Anthony Salikas, well, he is capable week in, week out of getting the West Perth faithful on their feet, and that one was like threading the eye of a needle.
Yeah, it was a fantastic kick, but hats off to the couple of minutes Antonio's had. If you look at that kick inside, that was a beautiful kick to Nelson.
You're right, Nelson could have gone for goal.
He could have himself. He could have run in.
He set Salikas a difficult task. Unfortunately, he was up to it.
Well, he likes the degree of difficulty. He likes to get on the angle just to make it a bit tougher.
And Antonio, what happened in that contest was he didn't give away the free kick. He kept his feet. He kept the ball alive. And as soon as he got that ball, he just that 30-metre kick inside that just went a metre off the ground was fantastic.
Goes with a short pass. It was a risky one meant for Bartholomew. Here's Ash Smith, sends it forward to Tunbridge, just outside 50, goes towards Hutchings, who takes a clever mark. He's marked about
just about
13 metres out.
Salikas, when he kicked that's been having a good one as well. It was a bad turnover.
Very well weighted pass there. Clever kick by Tunbridge.
And again, how often do you see it? Like Adams takes the mark at the other end, he goes back, takes his time, kicks that goal, balls at the other end, and it's pretty much a 2-goal turnaround.
That's what it will amount to, because Hutchings you would expect from pretty much directly in front, only 15 metres out, should send this one home. The goal umpire doesn't move, so East Perth, they get the goal that probably West Perth should have got at the other end of the ground. Mark Hutchings is the goal scorer, his first one for the afternoon, and East Perth get the margin back to a more manageable 12 points.
Well, they needed that. And as we said, West Perth get that one at the other end. It just really puts a dent in East Perth's confidence. And cause a turnover here and get one at the other end probably gives them a confidence boost.
Yeah, definitely. The only positive side from West Perth there is the ball gets turned over the middle, and the three that are that side are all East Perth that should have been chasing, but they get on the end of them, and it's a really good finish by Hutchings, who just outbodied Coonan there to take that mark. I thought Coonan might have got a hand on that, but it was really good body work by Hutchings.
So there's the scoreline. 20 minutes have gone in the quarter. Getting close to half-time. Josh Smith going in, doing some pitch hitting in the ruck. Black took a heavy knock, but still managed to get the hand pass to Bartholomew. Away he goes now to Batterham. One bounce. Outside 50. Good-looking centering kick. And reading it brilliantly, Antonio nearly took the mark. Through at Manning. Did he get taken high? He did. Well, that is just the way that Cody Manning attacks the footy.
Really good fly here by Antonio. You want to see a kid, and he just about plucked that. But Cody Manning, he just all he does. It looked a little bit soft, but it was there.
Where was the high contact there?
I thought I just saw it.
Just above the very soft.
But the second player in, was it?
I think it might have been. Manning directly in front. Needs to cover 35 to 40 metres. And he does. He's happy with it. So the very quick reply by West Perth.
Really well done in the middle by Black, wasn't it, to win that clearance, and then the ball came in really quickly. Gets to a dangerous spot. It's that 15, 20 metres out from goal. Great fly by Antonio.
See this high contact here. Oh, Yeah, no, it was the first tackle. He just initially had it, one across the shoulder.
Wasn't a lot in it. It was the first one that got him high, and technically that's a free kick.
Yeah, you see the reaction of the three closest East Perth players there. They couldn't believe it, but the free kick was there. He's a valuable player, Cody Manning. He can play a few different roles for you, Darren.
Oh, he's a barometer. Last year's finals.
Darren. He's not coaching anymore.
I meant the collective of all of us. As Nelson gets the kick up towards Crisp. Crisp gets on with it quickly. The lead coming from Adams. This time he takes the mark, and I reckon he'll go back and take a kick.
I'm not suggesting at all, Phil, there's some bias from him in this box, is there? Hey?
No, I'm not a Falcon through and through at all.
Not at all, no.
Former captain, former coach.
What's the score in the East Melbourne game, as a matter of fact?
I can tell you that my other old team, Carlton, lost today. Glenn Britton would be at home, an ex-West Perth Premiership player. He'd be shattered today.
Only margin behind Mick Malthouse, I'd say.
Yeah. East Fremantle, to answer your question, they're going pretty well as Adams sends that one through. Gee, that was a good passage of play by West Perth. They really used the ball well. Goes short to Hart. Defensive side of the centre square. And he gets it to Payne.
Right out.
Payne's kick, not a good one. Having to pick it up in the half volley there was Gordon. He was pushed off his kick. Kerr to Jones. Now Batterham, who looks to have the goods as well. He kicks it up towards centre half forward. What great vision. Adams takes the mark, hits the ground running. One bounce. He's going to run into an open goal scorer and hammers it home. He's got three. All in this term from Marcus Adams. What a quarter.
How was the kick from half back? Yeah. That's gone 60 metres and hit the player out the back. It was a fantastic kick. Who was that? Batterham. It was brilliant.
Here goes Kerr. That's Jones. And Batterham, well, he had another player he could have hand passed it to. But as you say, Darren, he saw the opportunity to set it up for Adams and did it beautifully taken there by Fraser McInnes. Sends a very, very high kick up to the half-forward line. Rasmussen running the same way of the footy. Never took his eyes off the ball, and a safe mark on his chest. Continues to impress, doesn't he, Darren?
Just kept his eye on the ball. He was good a couple of weeks ago when we saw him, and just the way he stood the mark before, he's just a committed young player.
Kicks out Van Berlo. So Jay Van Berlo just settling things down. Had another 15 possessions, Rasmussen, last week, so just one of those steady half-backs who does his job. Ball falls short, and the player that read it best was Cody Manning. Swings around onto his right boot, finds Batterham. He wanted to play on, but Hart was in the way, so Batterham. Gee, that's a wobbler off the side of the boot. Makes it difficult for Patenti, who made light of the problem. Tapped it there beautifully into the pass of Black. Black to Strike. Strike's a beautiful user. So too is Salikas. Takes the mark, hits the ground running, and kicks the first goal of the third quarter. Anthony Salikas has now got 4 for the afternoon and continues to be a real headache for the Royals. It's going to come back to Adam Carter, who took a heavy knock in the first half, but seems to have recovered pretty well. So over the top of Tunbridge, through the legs of Fraser, gathering it with Rasmussen. Tunbridge down with his head down, burrowing in. Main, Wolf just determined to get his hands on the footy, but he was taken to the ground as well. This has been a characteristic of East Perth's play this afternoon, and that's not the first time Craig Wolf has been penalised under those circumstances. Antonio with the free kick. He makes it a hand pass. Brown started the second half on the bench. Now a beautifully weighted kick. And we've seen some of that this afternoon. And Black on this occasion, the player who made the space, backtracked. It was a beautifully weighted kick by Brown. And Black can shoot at goal from 40 metres out.
Well, sometimes Wolf is a victim of his own play, isn't he? Sometimes he's that desperate to get the footy. He gets penalised because he wins it in contested situations, but then can't get rid of it out.
The angles have been used very well by West Perth. They're getting those angles inside 50, and great to see Brown out there delivering that inside 50.
Well, that was Brown combining with Black, and Black has put it through for another one for West Perth, so they continue to extend their lead. But it's not just, on the scoreboard. It's just they are playing a telling brand of football at the moment, Darren, that has me shaking my head, wondering how it took them 3 rounds of footy to win a game. A little bit casual with his use, but he would certainly be up there with the better players on the ground, you would think. Coonan, but Johnson in front, works the ball down to the foot of the pack. he ran into a stiff bump there, did Kerr, but he had the presence of mind to get a hand pass to Jordan Jones. Falling mark, but the tackle had already been effected, and it's going to be a free kick going the way of Fowler. And Nathan Blee got to his feet. I think initially he thought that he might have been the one that was held.
Thanks,
Just when the two arms go around.
He's got him in an embrace.
Yeah.
Just 1 metre to your right, mate. That's it, thanks.
The umpire who's looking for cues doesn't have much option there but to play holding the man there in that marking contest.
So it's a fairly handy free kick ratio to the Falcons. 2-1 in favour of as Matt Fowler just ambles in and from pretty much point-blank range has put through his second of the afternoon. Brown to Desco, back to Hunt now. Time for the boot, he uses it onto the left boot, steers it pretty well into the path there of Van Berlo. Now he's got runners, look at the runners outside, he's got two of them. Coonan allows it to go past him to Bartholomew. Oh, now Jones has got room, running for him as Patenti. That's the way the pass will go, surely. No, Bartholomew runs to position. He's still outside 50. He doesn't want to be. He runs to 50 and sends it long. This could have the carry. This has got the carry, I think. Or is it marked? It's got to be a goal or a mark. The umpire's going to signal a goal. It is. Well done to Ray Bartholomew. Didn't they enjoy that one? Well, Bartholomew knew that he was going to be out of range if he went back for his kick, Darren, so very cleverly. He just played on, got himself to where he was comfortable with, and that was a really good-looking kick.
He's a really good finisher. He has been all his career, and we see that it does go over the line there, but really interesting to see Jordan Jones, and, I think he might be actually on ball, but he's been able to float forward those wingers and half-backs across that have been able to get from behind. Good use of the footy and the width of the ground being used at the moment. They're really making East Perth chase hard at the moment, and much better finishing than we saw early on.
Yep.
24 minutes, I should say, have gone in this quarter, and it's really starting to get it's beyond East Perth to win the game. I mean, they're just not looking as though they can make an impression on the scoreboard, but they've just got to get some systems in place so that they can go forward next week. Going nowhere, rather prophetically stated by the umpire.
Play on.
Although now Johnson sends them forward, but only as far as Strike, who gathers the footy immediately, looks for the best option. Patenti was there, getting a great bounce there was Van Berlo. Jordan Jones cuts back inside Clutterbuck, squaring ball. Good hard running, allowed Antonio to be in the right position. Front edge of the centre square. Kicks the ball out in front of Adams. Oh, beautiful pick up there and run into space. Great work there by Badahan, who has been impressive this afternoon. And they look light on their feet, West Perth, in contrast to East Perth, who look to be really lumbering. That was a good slick bit of play by Badahan. They're 14th on the board, and they now lead by 62 points, Ken.
He just wanted that more than the East Perth bloke wanted, didn't he?
Yeah, we watched it.
That was a 50-50 ball.
Didn't he show some zip?
Well, yeah, 50-50 ball. The West Perth players, as they've done all day, look like they wanted more.
And you talk about looking like you've got more energy. When you've got the ball in your hands, which they have at the moment, they're dominating, you find that energy, don't you? You become part of the game. And
it becomes infectious, doesn't it? It rubs off on your teammates and all that sort of thing.
But you're right, there's a different level of commitment to that 50-50 ball.
So Johnson back in ruck. It's going to be another clearance for West Perth. Black gets his boot to it. Crisp, front and square. Has plenty of time to track the loose ball, gather it, then deliver in front of Adams, who's going to run into an open goal and kick it. Or is he? Yes! Well, it just would not sit up for him. He had one option and one option only, and that was to make contact with the boot. Fortunately, it went straight, and he now has 4 goals for the afternoon. His aerial skills have been superb.
That has just epitomised the day, that kick.
Yep. You kick it to the man on your mark who marks it. Oh, and Adams standing tall and standing strong, as he has all day as well. And it would be worthy of his performance if he could go back and make 4 goals 5.
Really happy with that kick from Salikas too.
Yep.
Look, he's on the boundary. Kick one from not far away from there earlier in the day, but I'll just put it 20 metres out from goal where the big man is. Very team oriented, which is great.
So Marcus Adams has to kick it 25 metres, 30 metres perhaps, sends it straight through the middle. He has got 5 goals. What a return it has been from him personally. But I think a performance, West Perth are just saying to the rest of the competition that they are here and they are going to be a real force to be reckoned with during the year of their premiership defence.
And why wouldn't you have a big smile on your face? But we look at Anthony Salikas' kick here, gets right to the right spot. He's a big man, and I really like his goal-kicking technique. It's just a nice, simple action.
You know, it's solid.
He gets through.
Yeah.
I really like it, and he really hasn't looked like missing those set shots today.
Just starting to perhaps feel the heat, a bit of cramp setting in. There are going to be some tired players. These conditions have been really oppressive. For a round 4 match, you probably just don't expect this sort of heat and humidity. But I've got to say, under the conditions, West Perth have really looked sharp.
Sorry, boys, this week.
Let's go down to Rod Willett, who's been patrolling the boundary.
Thanks, Phil. Well, we were asking about the Marcus Adams look-alike, and we've actually found one. There he is. It's Troy Wilson, played for both of these teams. He'll be have a foot in both camps at this stage, I'm sure. Yeah,
he won't be losing out of this afternoon as Dobson finds Payne. This is Stephen Payne to Hutchings. Back to Stephen Payne. So often it's just one too many handballs by East Perth. Clutterbuck forced to kick high, and look at the mark from Rasmussen.
Again, West Perth played wanted more than East Perth played.
He sure did.
Great.
Jones has got plenty of space on half forward. Goes into the pocket. Salikas, that one got through him. They don't often. Now Adams has a chance to kick his 6th. Shares it with Cody Manning, who will hook a goal across his body, and he'll kick his 3rd. I beg your pardon, his 2nd.
Adams could have had the shot then, couldn't he? But he gives the hand off, and that's reward for Manning for all his tackling today. He deserves that.
He does, but we go back here again, and Rasmussen's mark was a classic situation where 50-50 ball, who wants the most, and he wanted it most.
Well, it's just the way he plays, Rasmussen, isn't it? I mean, they've been most impressed.
It's epitomised what they've done all day, West Perth. Whenever there's been a 50-50 ball, I'd have to say I haven't seen an East Perth player win a 50-50 contest. West Perth have won it every time.
I must admit, I didn't come here today expecting that sort of margin. I thought it'd be a really close game.
I didn't discount West Perth's chances, but I didn't
nor did I.
Well,
nor did I, especially when I saw that the changes had reached 7.
Someone's given you a theory.
Here's Nelson. He got it from Patenti. Now, running at the footy, Salikas just sheaves off the hand pass to Manning. He's kicked consecutive goals, has he? Well, he was celebrating a long way out. And just, did it clip the post?
Got the post.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Carter kicking the ball into play. Finds Clutterbuck. I spoke to one of their directors, Joe Barbaro, before the game. He said when a side has 5 or more changes, they generally lose.
Well, that's obviously something that's been discussed around the club this week. You think that might have convinced them?
Yeah, don't make more than 5.
Andrew's strike has just fisted that, got it over the boundary. The effort remains, so, Bill Monahan would be really happy with that.
Wolf sharked it brilliantly, got the clearing kick. Putting a fist into it out there was Brown. Strike just had a caught at his feet. Brown swoops. Slick hand pass to Tedesco. Likewise for him too, Patente. East Perth knocked that one down a little bit, and a very, very tired kick from Wolf cleared the area, but the bounce favours Hunt, who kicks the ball along the ground, and it's been marked right on the line. The umpire had a good look at it, but Coonan had it. Bartholomew's got a ton of space. He can run, share the ball out wide with Nelson. Now, Nelson just needs to steady. He doesn't go for goal because he's got options. He had 2 options. One of them, Salikas, and he hits him right on the chest. Well, their unselfishness has been most obvious in the last 15 minutes, or what was it, not even 10 minutes, because you haven't played that long.
Yep.
They're just looking for better options.
50-50 on the wing over there again.
Yeah.
West Perth wanted it more.
Yeah. And again, Rasmussen, I think. Yeah. Twice he's taken that really good mark. Good finish by Anthony Salikas. He gets his 5th.
Rasmussen ended up with it. He was wrestled to the ground, and the umpire calls for it.
Touch off the Perth player's hands like what, mate? Touch, mate. Clearly touched off there.
Yeah, get to have a look at this.
It was.
Yeah, it was. Well umpired.
But that might have been a touch high there.
So Black, he gets the clearance. Fisting it was Crisp. Black followed up brilliantly, gets another hand pass to Crisp into the path now of Antonio. He needs a shepherd. He'll get one from Manning. So Antonio goes up toward full forward. Fowler won't drop this one. Now he wants to play on. He can't do that. He was forward of the mark, so he's going to have to come back and do it all over again. A wry smile on the face of Matt Fowler, but I think he'll enjoy it anyway because he'll go back and certainly kick it. East Fremantle trouncing Claremont 17-10 to 7-6. Subiaco 14-7 to Peel Thunder 8-7. And at the closer game, Swan District's 13-12-90 leading South Fremantle 10-13-73. So just 17 points the difference there.
That's sort of been about the lead they've had for a while.
They've had that lead for a long, long time. It just seems to be goal for goal. So South not getting any closer. And they will sustain their 4th consecutive defeat unless something radical happens down there.
Interesting, in two weeks in a row, we've sat here and watched Peel last week get beaten by a team that was just much more desperate.
Yep.
Swan District's tackling pressure was enormous. They were playing for each other, and all those kids, we were wrapped with the way they went about it. And then we come out and watch West Perth today, and a much more experienced side, West Perth, but their physicality's been fantastic as well.
So just to show that it was no fluke the first time, Matt Fowler goes back and puts it through.
Yeah, 1 point since half-time is a great effort to be able to keep a side with the talent they've got on the park today.
Yeah. 2 points.
Good mark taken down there by Tunbridge.
Come back on the 50-metre mark.
This is a guy who I'm sure can deliver a lot more than he has today. Tunbridge's kick. Oh, that's a brilliant goal. That's about as good as any goal of the day. That he's getting up to 27 possessions. Yeah, I'm right. Thanks, Jess. Nelson would be up there as well. And then this one is over the line and out of bounds on the full. Well, hardly any need for that. So Hart will take the free kick. Nelson, notwithstanding that mistake again, has been one of West Perth's prime movers. Is it going to be 50 metres, is it?
I think what he's protesting, he wasn't sure he did throw.
Who's Hardy?
Well, he said yours Hardy. Obviously Hart is number 12 for East Perth. That's Callum Hart.
Well, he's played 4 games. So Anthony Salikas would never have a clue who Hardy is.
He said, I don't know who Hardy is.
I just thought I was throwing it to Hardy.
Have a look at the look on his. He said.
I think Jacob Brennan was actually trying to con the kick as well. Do you remember that?
Well, now he's trying to drift into the pocket and see if he can be on the end of it. No, that wasn't him a big part. That was Freddie Clutterbuck. So Jacob Brennan is the onlooker as Callum Hart runs in. He will cross the 50-metre line, kicks it on its way. That's a good-looking kick. Steered it through brilliantly. So assisted by that 50-metre penalty.
Well done, Hardy.
Hardy gets one for East Perth.
And we all know who he is now.
Now we do. He'll know better next time, Anthony Salikas. But Callum Hart getting a belated goal for East Perth. Some of that banter has been really interesting today, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, in actual fact, Jacob Brennan.
He was calling for the footy.
Yeah, that's right. And Hardy didn't say anything.
Just well played. Adding to the intrigue of this afternoon. But it has been all about West Perth today. They have pretty much controlled the game throughout. It was an interesting and even first quarter, but really since quarter time they have dismembered the Royals, and they are going to run out big winners. Coonan wins the tap. There is Carpenter. Getting the kick away, Van Berlo, and straight on the chest of Anthony Salikas.
He might get one back here.
He'll be looking around for Hardy, I reckon.
I reckon he might be telling Hardy too if he kicks it.
Well, you'd have to say he's a good chance. This is not beyond him. The distance is okay, and he's pretty reliable.
Yeah, distance is no worry.
Going for the 6th.
6 goals would be a good return from Anthony Salikas. Sends it on its way. Oh, it's got it through. It just started to get on the drift there as it was getting to the journey, but he steered it through. A 6-goal return to Anthony Salikas, and he has just been one of their stars for the afternoon. But right from the very get-go, Judgy, he was a headache for West Perth.
No, he's been good.
For East Perth, I should say.
Yeah, no, he's been very, very good.
Gee, look at the way Black just tracked that footy and flipped up the hand pass to Van Berlo.
Doing what all good forwards should do, playing in front in case the ball drops short, gets the mark.
He's always looking at the ball, Anthony Salikas. He always thinks he's a chance, and he's good at getting out the back, but he's also good at those ground opportunities. He's a hard player to play on because he's good in the air as well for not a very big man. So he's had a great game. 6 looks pretty good next to your name. And well done to Chris Kernan too with that tap in there. He's come out, he's had a sore shin. We saw him hobble off, but he stood up for his team in a game, and he's still going in a game that they've already won. So good character.
I think he's only kicked 12 or 13 goals for the season, Anthony Selekas. We've seen him kick 10 of them. Dobson's high kick's been marked there by that player, Carpeney. Kicks it up forward, but West Perth again. Rasmussen so dependable, and under pressure he's made that kick work pretty well for him, although Van Berlo got a terrible bounce, allowed Wolf in. Carpenry again, but Kernan got it to Antonio, ended up with Manzoni, and he kicks it out in front of Fowler, who's taken the mark. You talked about West Perth being more experienced than the young Swan District side we saw, Darren, but some of their less experienced players today, talk about Antonio and Manzoni, they have really stood up and played extremely well.
Yeah, it's a great blend, and so when you come into a side where there's so much experience and experienced senior players that have played in a premiership last year, and you add that to the mix, you just come out and play, and you know you're being supported by these players that have got the ability and the experience.
Oh, how's the kick? A towering kick, and
well, it was the same as the one he kicked in the grand final from the junction.
It was.
Exactly the same spot. So he is a beautiful kick when he gets onto them, and that's a great result. If we were questioning West Perth's hunger after their first 2 losses, and they were only narrow losses, and they looked a bit tardy and they weren't consistent over 4 quarters, well, we've seen a pretty hungry side today. They've gone from start to finish their pressure, and that's what they built their premiership on last year. So maintaining that is really important.
Yeah, he goes good return when you look at the 3 forwards there. 6 to Selekas, 4 to Fowler, and 5 to Adams. So,
have you got 4 for Fowler, have you?
Chucky, yeah, I think, isn't that right?
I had him for 3.
Did you?
4. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks, Jess.
Kernan.
Good work, Jess.
Jordan Jones tracking the footy, just such determination. Another centre clearance. Oh, lace out onto the chest of Adams. Well, it's a bit of a battle royal at the moment because he has 5 goals.
And he has got 5 straight.
Selekas
kick sensational.
Selekas has got 6. He should have 6, Adams.
Yeah. Did you say it's a bit of a battle for the Royals?
A battle royal between these two, Adams and Selekas. And this is more from long range, kicks from about 48. He just kicked it like a wheat bag, but it's been marked in the square by Cody Manning, or is it Fowler again? Yeah, Manning it is.
Just spotted him up beautifully,
didn't he? Well, he'll now register his 3rd goal.
Yeah, they've all got... I'm most happy probably for this bloke. He was the one at the first centre bounce that came in and put that pressure on, and he's just been at it all day.
There goes his kick. He has 3.
Yeah, analyse those efforts. His first effort for West Perth in a contest. And as I go back to that Wilson, when he started to just let his bloke go, those 2 things were actually an absolute sign for the day, wasn't it, really?
You can't not come to play.
Yeah.
You've got to turn up. And one team has today and the other hasn't.
So just a forward who applies so much pressure, chips in with 3 goals. Darren, makes him a pretty valuable player, doesn't it?
Oh, look, and they do. When you're talking about their first 2 losses and they talk about Crisp is out and Manning out, they're big losses for West Perth because they both put enormous pressure on, and they talked about this bloke's pressure in the finals last year.
Both of them, Crisp and Manning.
Yeah, helping them win a grand final.
It's not just the 3 goals, it's what he's doing when he hasn't got the ball, isn't it, as well?
That's
he would
right.
have had 10 to 12 tackles, plus he would have had 4 or 5 where he's thrown himself across the boot.
Carpeney gets the kick in up towards Smith at full forward. He shares it with McInnes onto the right boot. Getting back there is Tedesco. Drops the chest mark. Probably should have swallowed it. Doesn't matter because the siren is gone. What an emphatic victory by the Falcons. Their supporters know it and they're enjoying it as much as the players themselves. The Royals absolutely out on their feet, but West Perth, they will be soaking all of this up because that is some victory. 100 points even, if you don't mind. 22 goals, 17, 149 to East Perth, 7-7, 49. Nick Rodder, a star in defence, but they had them all over the ground. Young Trent Manzoni just improving each time we see him. But to a man, the Falcons this afternoon all contributed, the whole 22 of them, in putting together that memorable victory, the grand final replay from 2013, a 100-point victory to the Falcons. And they'll celebrate that. In contrast, look, East Perth, they looked a bit flat-footed. They look a lot flatter now because they're going to have to go back, notwithstanding their 3 early victories, Judge. You think it's just going to have to go back now and address what was a real drubbing this afternoon and why it came about. It was more about the why than the what.
Yeah, no, they were extremely disappointing, East Perth. They didn't come with anywhere near the right kind of approach. They didn't play. They didn't play with any passion. They didn't play with any energy. I mentioned that at three-quarter time, and look, they got convincingly trounced too by West Perth. They were very good. You know, when you only kick 2 goals 4 in the second half and allow the opposition 13 goals 8, that's an indication of the dominance that West Perth had. Yeah. You know, from probably quarter time onwards, to be honest.
They had 3 goals 2 at quarter time. They were right in the game, notwithstanding they were trailing at quarter time by 5 points. But West Perth, they just took the initiative and totally controlled the game for virtually the remainder of it. And did not just so much, not so much, well, as much as it was their talent, their speed, the good use of their ball, their exciting team play, their commitment to smothering, Darren, shepherding, some of that, and the tackling, the general pressure was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah. Sorry, Darren. I was just going to say the other thing was the stuff blokes were doing when they didn't have the footy as well, not just when they had the ball.
Yeah, I agree with you. Their defence, and we were a bit critical early that they couldn't shut down that quick ball, but they were working really hard up from behind to put pressure on.
Well, Rod Willett has got Marcus Adams.
Yes, thanks very much, guys. Marcus, congratulations. A very good win and a very confident win for the boys.
Yeah, it's always good after getting off to a bit of a slow start this year, so good to bounce back in good style with 100 points. So.
Now, East Perth are always a big challenge. They were undefeated before you met them today. Was there any fear leading into this week?
Oh, not really. We always back ourselves in, even after the first 2 weeks. It's just got to have the confidence to go forward each week and continue to play hard.
Martin, a relatively unknown chap in the WAFL, but you're certainly making your mark. 5 goals today. Very good effort.
Yeah, I started off pretty slow, so it's good to bounce back with a couple of decent games. So, yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit about your mate. We were asking a few questions earlier. Obviously, we know that you played at Swan Districts a couple of years ago. What have you been doing last year?
I had osteitis pubis, so I had a couple of years off there and then got back into it this year. So.
Yeah, and you obviously spent a little bit of time in the weights room. Obviously, that didn't affect the groin or anything, but you're playing well, and it was such a good win today.
Yeah, it was great. Good to be part of such a good win, such a good game. So, cheers.
Congratulations, mate. Go and enjoy it. I know the boys will give you a hard time. See ya.
Marcus Adams, a very happy man. Not so much Adam Selwood, assistant coach, and Brian Dawson, the senior coach. They will have a fair bit to think about after a 100-point loss. Certainly favoured as the likely premiers for this season, but West Perth had other ideas about that, and they have come out emphatically defending their 2013 premiership. They didn't get off to the best of starts, but they really looked the goods today. As they sing the song.